Okay, all right, last video for the week, we're going to practice a little bit of sight reading. Since this is going to be really important to go for the P&L proficiency exam, I do want to hammer it over the head quite a bit, okay? So, we're going to do one on page 109, and we're going to do one on page 110. So if you can go ahead and flip there right now, we're going to do 8-22 and then 8-24. We are not doing Jingle Bells because I can't. I've heard it way too much teaching little children, and it gives me nightmares. Okay, anyways, so we're going to go to 8-22. Okay, so, talking about sight reading and everything, first things that we really want to identify, see if our clefs are normal and everything like that, see what key we're in. So if you look, you'll see we have an F sharp in our key signature. So that can mean we are either in G major or we're in E minor. Take a look at the first measure. What notes do we have in our left hand? Oh, look, we've got G, B, and D. That's a G major chord, so we are going to have to be in G major. So now, someone's already done this in my book actually. It will be really helpful to you, just for practice, after you sight read through it, to go through and write Roman numerals. But right now, I don't want any of that. What I want you to do, after you look at the time signature, which is in 4-4, I want you to go back to the beginning, and I want you to scan the piece for 1 minute. So, things to look for while you're doing this, and I'll talk a little bit lower so you can focus. Any sort of big leaps or big jumps, anything that's going to be complicated, what the left hand pattern looks like, any complicated rhythms, anything like that. Okay? Alright, so now that you've had a little bit of time, and normally in the real world I'll give you maybe a little bit longer, but want to get to playing. We're going to play it together. I'm going to pick a deathly slow tempo for right now. And I want you guys to see how much you can look ahead, okay? Basically, the more that you can keep your eyes going forward instead of going backwards, the better things are going to be for you in terms of knowing what's coming up, okay? There will be some other things we could definitely do if we were in person. Sadly, we can't, so a lot of this is just going to be you guys having to train your own eyes, okay? So, let's start at the beginning. 5 on G in the left hand, 2 on G in the right hand. I'll slow you around a little bit more, okay? Alright, so we're going to start at the beginning. Ignore moderato. This is more like largo for sure. We're probably going to go no faster than 1, 2, 3, 4. Sight reading, I don't care if it's as slow as a dirge. It's all good, okay? Alright, so let's put our hands there. Take off. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, alright. So hopefully you guys are able to stay relatively, keep up with me through that whole piece. If you completely crash and burn somewhere in the middle, that's okay. Take a pause, take a break, and then after you finish this video, I want you to go back and sight read through that again, okay? I picked that tempo even though it's really slow for me, but it's going to be enough that your brain can stay ahead of your fingers. That's the biggest thing of sight reading, is if you can keep your brain engaged, looking ahead really far, not really far, but to the next measure essentially, then you're going to have a much more successful chance than if you're just like, okay, this note that I'm on is B, okay, I got that, wait, what's next? And then you're a little bit behind the tempo, okay? So that's why I encourage you to pick something super, super, super slow. Alright, okay, So we're going to skip over Jingle Bells. If you want to sight read that on your own time, you can. But let's go on to the next page. We're going to be doing this example 8-24, and we got some pedal thrown in here this time. So with pedaling, when you do it, I'm going to play some of the chords in the left hand so you can listen to what they sound like. I'm going to put this actually like right down to my foot. I'm glad I picked good shoes today. Okay, so with pedaling, I just want to remind you, I'm in heels, so this is going to be a little bit different. You want whatever heel that you're wearing to be planted on the floor as firmly as you possibly can. You don't want to be lifted up like this because it's really unstable, and also your leg could cramp up too. Okay, so you also don't want to be like on here because that's going to make things hard. You want kind of the right around this area of your foot. I'm blanking on the name. The ball. Yes. No. Whatever. Okay. You want that to be propped up on there. And you don't want to be lifting your leg off the floor when you pedal. That's way too much work. This is the most stable thing. Okay? Typically, anytime you change the chord, you're going to change the pedal. So, if you can look at 8-24 while you're looking at my foot and watch, I'm going to pedal on every chord change. Okay? All right. So, here's the first chord. Good. And the idea is as the notes go down, my foot goes up. Pops up. Good. Next chord. Same chord, so we're going to keep this all the way through. Good. And change. Good. Okay. So anytime that you have a repeating chord, and I will bring you guys back up here, you guys are not going to change your foot, okay? Unless there's just a lot of stuff going on in the right hand, which for you, there will be none of that, okay? All right, so, excuse me, sorry. For the right hand and the left hand together, as much of pedaling as you can get in right now will be great, but that's a good review for pedaling, okay? So, let's take a look at the beginning. Normal clefs, we've got 3 flats. We've got B flat, E flat, and A flat, okay? This means whether an E flat major or C minor. Okay? Look at the first chord. Oh, look, we got E flat, G, and B flat, so play that. We're in E flat major, and we're in 3/4. The counting will be a little bit different this time. Okay? So, take a second, and I want you guys to look from beginning to end, look for complicated things. Look at your left hand, look at your right hand for fingering and what might be a little bit more difficult than other things. And everything, okay? All right. Give you a little bit more time. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and start at the beginning, okay? That was plenty of time. So we're on our, scooch it down one more time. E major chord right here, okay? 3 on G in the right hand right here, okay? All right, we're gonna go deathly slow again, okay? So get your hands ready. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right, awesome. So, I added a little bit extra pedaling. Other than that, I kept things pretty much the same. I want you guys, whenever you practice sight reading, and you're free to flip through the book and sight read through whatever you want. We'll practice a little bit more with some open score reading too later, which will be fun to sight read. But the more that you can pull from any chapter in the book, even if it's a little bit too difficult, gets you more experience. I do that all the time. Sometimes I'll sight read stuff that I would teach, or I can just pull out, like some part of a Beethoven sonata. Even if I don't get half the timing right, I just try to sight read through it, and that helps so much. So I would encourage you guys to skip around the book as much as possible. Who knows, we might actually play some of those pieces in the future. Okay? All right. And that is it for week 2. So I hope that you guys are settling into everything and looking out for assignments and everything. I will announce the assignment on Sunday night in an email, probably by just saying the assignment info is up on YouTube more than anything, so you have to go look for that. Okay? All right. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys next week.